Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Direct Show's A Chat With series, where we are chatting with property managers, owners, and suppliers about their views and tips on direct bookings. Today, my guest is the one and only Heather Bayer. Hello, Heather. How are you?
Hello, Debbie. How lovely to see you, speak to you. I'm really, really well. As you know, I just sold my business. So no longer, I'm a former property manager.
Yeah. I actually call myself a retired property manager. So we're sort of retired, but still have our fingers in the pie. We have knowledge to share.
Yeah, I don't, the word retired doesn't come into my vocabulary.
Okay, fair enough. So Heather, we're going to move straight into it. And I just wanted to ask you, and I think I know the answer, but when you first started in the industry, did you start off with direct bookings, or is it something that you discovered down the line?
Well, I started off in the late 1990s, so absolutely started with direct booking. There was no, HomeAway hadn't come on the scene, Airbnb definitely hadn't, and yes, it was all direct booking, nothing else.
It's obviously the business model changed with Airbnb, etc., and all jumping on board. And I think anyone who's been in the industry long enough is an advocate for direct bookings because it is how we started, and we know the benefit of having them. So yes, I think they're all rallying.
Well, yes, because we started with direct booking, and then HomeAway did come along, and it was exciting. There was TripAdvisor, and oh my gosh, we've got all this. They're going to do it for us, and we put all our properties on there. And we hit the peak with that, and then when we came down the other side and realized that, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, we had the benefit of knowing how successful direct booking was. And that drove us to where we were when I sold the business.
Yeah. When you've had the taste of it, you know what you've got. Yeah. What you had and what you want again. Why do you think direct bookings are so important?
From a property manager perspective, it's having control. It's, you want to be in control. You're not, we've heard this term about using rented space. You don't operate your business on rented space. And that's what happens when you direct all your bookings through the platforms, because they can change. That they can change at any minute. I was reading a post this morning on a Facebook group where people were talking about Airbnb delisting them out of the blue, just without any explanation. And they're saying, what do I do now? I've got all these people checking in. I don't know how to get in touch with them. And that's the reason that we wanted to go back to majority direct booking, because we retained control over everything.
Yeah. And in that instance, and I've heard of many, many times that's happened, they lose their reviews and they're not given a reason.
And there's no reason. This is what everybody was saying on this thread. They won't talk about it. They won't tell me why they shut me down.
Yeah. It's madness. God. Direct bookings, post-pandemic, direct bookings seem to grow. Do you think that growth is going to continue?
It will continue in conjunction with the amount of effort that goes into it. It's never going to become an automatic process. And I think more people found direct booking during the pandemic because they had more time, lots more time to look around for a vacation location and then learn more about it. And they were getting this from the direct booking sites. You can't decide, or think, where do I want to go next month, and go onto Airbnb and find information on the location. You can find the accommodation, but you can't find that ancillary information, which only comes from direct booking. So I think they found it over that time. And now that knowledge that, this is the price on Airbnb or Vrbo or booking.com. Now I can do my sleuthing and see if I can find the site directly.
Yes. I think the guests like the interaction, the fact that there's no middleman in the middle. They can actually talk directly, ask questions, get responses immediately. It's I hope.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of learning went on during the pandemic. because people had the time to do the research. And that has certainly benefited us. We've heard that from guests, that they only came across us because of having time.
Now, what is one thing that you think you do that brings you direct bookings? Is there one thing that you go, that's the one that brings them in?
Oh, I go on about this all the time. It's content. It's knowing your location, it's writing about it, it's getting information out there. I wrote a post a while back about why you should vacation in cottage country, and Google picked that up as one of its snippets. So if somebody Googles cottage country Ontario, then that invariably pops up in the Google snippet right at the top. And people tend to gravitate to those, not the Google ads, not the paid ads, but the information, because that's what they're seeking. So that's done for me on two levels, both for driving traffic from potential guests, and also there's another article I wrote about buying to rent that's driven owners as well. So we concentrated on building content on the website and getting it out. And you build your one piece of content and then repurpose it all over the place, do an audio, do video, do TikTok, whatever, using that exact same piece of content, and every single piece of content drives back to the website.
Did you also, were you in a region that you've got a lot of repeat guests?
We do, yes. We built up a lot of repeat guests over the years. I think when we sold the company, we were at around about 42% repeat guests.
And did you
so that's a huge advantage.
Yeah. Did you maintain contact through the year, or after they left, they immediately booked the next year?
Some booked the next year, but we also have a drip campaign that provides them with continual information on new properties, on new things that are happening in the area, or on events or attractions. We also are very diligent in taking notes on people. Did somebody come for a birthday? Did they get married at the property? Did they get engaged? And then we can follow up on anniversaries, or a couple of months before a big birthday's coming up. And those not only work to drive that repeat traffic, but it also works beautifully to drive referral traffic, because people will say, they'll tell their friends and their neighbors and their co-workers, I got this email from this company that I went to stay at their property 2 years ago, and they remembered that we got engaged there. And they've sent me information on a wonderful place we can go and spend our anniversary. So it works in multiple ways.
It's all about personalization, and we as property managers, we want to be remembered. So next time the guest comes along, they remember us. And at the same time, the guest would likes to be remembered too. We sort of forget about that, but that's a great thing.
Yes, and I had an email the other day from a guy who's been on the podcast a couple of times, called Steve Elsey. And Alan Egan built Steve's website, and I've mentioned it so many times because it is the perfect direct book website. He is 100% direct booking. But one of the things that he does to attract repeat guests is that he spends $14 for every one of his guests, and he has a sign made, a wooden sign that goes outside, and it says the Harris family or the Smith family. So when people arrive, their name is actually on the door. It's like it's their place.
Oh my God, wow. And then they can take it home with them?
And then they can take it home with them.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's for them, it's like somebody said, it's like our timeshare, it's like we spent much, much, much more on it than we actually did. Wow. Because we come back every year, and this is our place, and it's got our name on it. And that to me is, that is such personalization.
Isn't it? Oh, that's beautiful. That's great. So I'm also rekindling a question that you answered, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and we're finishing up with this one. Heather Bayer, what is the one word that you would use to describe the benefit of a direct booking?
Oh, no, you should have warned me about this one. What is
Let's see if it's the same.
And my word is connection.
Great.
You don't have that, you know, and it's immediate connection, because I know that you can respond to people on the Airbnb platform or the Vrbo platform or any other platform, and people will say stay on the platform, but that connection is not really there. The guests think that they're talking to Airbnb anyway, or the platform, but when you are direct booking, you have a personal connection, and you can go back with them and you can share what the heck you want with them. And it's not going, you know, you can share websites, links, and it's not going to be redacted in any way. And that, you know, that connection is so powerful, because that builds the relationship that then converts into a great booking where people are going to be happy. They're going to let you know if they have any issues, because you connected with them and explained what happens. And yeah, that's a long way around saying, I think connection would be my word.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're actually forming a relationship with the guest. It's more difficult to form one when you've got a filter, but coming direct, you are forming that relationship through that connection. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful. And a lovely way to end this interview. Anything else you want to throw into the book direct ring just before we sign off?
Is it all worth it? Is it all worth the effort at direct booking? And I had this sort of wobbly moment where I thought we should be out there doing more platforms. And then COVID came along. And I realized that going back to connection, relationship, that's what people wanted at that time. They wanted the personal touch, and they wanted to feel that they weren't as isolated as the pandemic was making them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got over the wobble. And so I think everybody will go through that little wobble because of the effort that's required in direct booking. But my advice would be, expect the wobble and get over it.
It's worth it in the end.
It is really worth it in the end. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, lovely. Well, what a lovely way to end the interview. Heather Bayer, thank you very, very much for your time. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Heather. Bye.